We are on Neeley Road in Guerneville in Sonoma County, California. Came up here for a weekend with my two very little sons one time, and they just got sticks and disappeared into the river. I don't know, being wild boys, and that was just so charming coming from San Francisco and Silicon Valley that I thought this would be great for them. This house was originally built as a kit house that you could send away for parts from, I think it was the Sears Roebuck catalog back in the 1930s. It stood here until we decided to update it, and then we discovered that a lot of it really wasn't going to stand up well, so we ended up having to redo most of it. We added another story on top and got to change quite a bit of it at that point. And the style of the place was really just based on redwood trees, which are all around us here. We're in the woods, the river, and the amount of light. So that's why we end up with a palette that's kind of white and green and gray and brown, because we wanted the inside of the house to just be a reflection of what we could see on the outside, which is really why we're here, because of the beautiful views and the river and the trees and everything that is not built up and city-like. The construction process, we really did this in 2 phases, and Jay did the architecture for both phases. The first phase was this part you see at the top, and then the second was really dealing with the storage areas below. So Jay's super easy to work with. He's a really nice guy and very communicative. He and I would just kind of brainstorm on a few things. He'd draw some things up, we'd move things around. Really great. He was very helpful when we were going through work with different contractors and checking up on them and making sure they were doing the right thing. I think one of the things that people say whenever they come here is like, wow, what an amazing house. We actually have people who come walking down the street and have knocked on the front door just to say, who was your architect? Because it is that stunning. And the site is amazing, but I think what Jay managed to do with it is just something quite special as well. So. One of the pleasant surprises is how captivating it is to sit in the room I'm sitting in right now when the sun's just about to go down. And it just is disappearing behind me over the trees. And there's this amazing, golden hour of light that comes streaming in through these massive windows. And it's just so charming. I always want to be here when that happens. So we wanted this place to be different from where we had lived in San Francisco. And in San Francisco, we had lots of small rooms. We wanted this to be a big, open, airy space that was all about hanging out with people. And so we wanted a living room with massive, great big windows that show off all the beautiful nature, an open dining area with lots of seating for people. And then for the kitchen, we wanted it to be part of the area so that it was really communal when people were cooking, but I didn't want it to seem too much like a kitchen, which is why all the appliances are hidden as best they can be, and we just have really clean white cabinets so that it doesn't read as too kind of industrial and mechanical. Then in terms of all the staircases, we really wanted an open feeling. You can look all the way through the house from the front to the back, through big glass doors at the front, all the way through this space and out when you come up, so that's really lovely. And the walkway from bedroom to bedroom is a kind of an open catwalk so that you can see from there as well. It's been really lovely how we've been able to bond with people better when they've come and stayed for a whole weekend rather than just going out for dinner or seeing them for a few hours sometime. So that's been lovely. We have some hammocks in the backyard. Just hanging out in those and looking at the trees and watching all the butterflies is really therapeutic, I think. I would say that having a really light, bright, open space that works so well for us for an escape or for hanging out with friends and family has been huge in our lives because this has given us respite from the madness that is everyday life and city living. And it's a place where I try to make my boys not use technology too much, and they have to go get muddy. And it's a place where it's so calm and it's so quiet. It's difficult to ever really want to leave.